Well, what do you know? Actual music, not that reggaeton Bad Bunny bullshit. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Raudeza Reviews. I'm Raudeza, and yes, I'm Hispanic, but I can't freaking stand that reggaeton nonsense. Now, I'm gonna preface this video. I realize that not a lot of people were fans of Thor: Love and Thunder. For obvious reasons, it wasn't for everybody. I actually didn't find it that distasteful. I think it was a little tacky in certain places, but I think it was intentional. In other words, what I'm trying to say, I think it was intentionally trying to be absurd and ridiculous, and in that sense, it really succeeded. Now, I have a low-key crush on Tessa Thompson. I think she's incredibly talented and really good in this role. And you know what? This is another example of how the movie is not so great, but the character was completely awesome and made for an incredible and highly anticipated 1/6 scale figure that is now sold out. So let's get to it. Today we're going to be reviewing Hot Toys version of Valkyrie from Thor: Love and Thunder, the 1/6 scale figure. Let's take a closer look. Look, I gotta be honest with you. Being able to do this, having the freedom to be able to do this, is one of the privileges of my life. It's very simple, and I'm so glad that I get to do this. And being able to take these figures out and unbox them, and you're greeted with this beautiful head sculpt of Tessa Thompson. This is absolutely her. Take a look at the hair sculpt, just the braids, the strands that come off the side. Countenance in the face is perfect. The application of the makeup is great. The eyes are sculpted so fantastic. I mean, they just did every contour of her face perfectly, and this is just a great rendition. The midsection and upper torso are where things get really interesting. Now, this is a full rubber body suit, but you do see some seam lines, which is not the worst thing in the world and kind of expected. But the midsection, just take a look at all the textures, color palette, the black offset against the white, and those gunmetal kind of holes and rivets look absolutely fantastic. Pay attention to the textures here and just the design and the straps. Everything looks really well done and high quality. It is a Hot Toys. Now, something really cool that I noticed, she does have a tat there. I'm not sure what this means. Obviously, it's some kind of Asgardian symbol. I'm gonna have to research that, but it is in her forearm, which looks really awesome. I like the way that this came out, and the attention to detail is perfect. Now, there is some great detail in the lower section of this piece, particularly in her trousers and all the straps that kind of adorn the lower section. But things do get a little bit restrictive. Let me explain. First of all, you don't want to put too much stress on the actual trousers themselves, but where things get really complicated is in the boots. They don't really have a good ball joint system, or none that I really recognize in terms of its overall articulation. Really strong seam line there too, and as you can tell, I couldn't quite get it to get flush with the actual base, and that's a bit of an issue. And that's a real shame because overall they're sculpted really well despite the seam line, but I still couldn't get it flush. Maybe with a little bit of time I can loosen it up a little bit, but it is what it is. Now, you definitely want to mirror this piece, and this is actually one of the highlights of this piece, is definitely the reverse side. Now, obviously you get to see those wonderful strands, those wonderful locks. They just look absolutely outstanding, and it's a really good job. And you can see there are little blue tints and highlights in her hair that really make it pop out. But of course, the focal point here is her cape. It is stunning, silky smooth. I love that royal blue color, and of course, it has a wire mesh so you can get some really dynamic poses. Take advantage of this, get as creative as possible because it is awesome, and I'm glad that you can manipulate this. Just really cool reverse side. Now, I've talked about this several times, and it's not a real big thing. We all know that these 1/6 scale figures, at least in the Marvel universe, are pretty standard in terms of the bases. Hexagonal slabs, but they are effective, and again, the figures can actually stand on them. This one is actually really cool. Has an awesome lithograph, and again, it has that Asgardian symbol, which I gotta research. Does read Marvel Studios, Thor: Love and Thunder, very colorful. And of course, on the lip of the base, it does read the name of the figure, which is Valkyrie. Now again, nothing too ostentatious, nothing too spectacular, but it does work very well for this figure. Now, Valkyrie does come with a number of accessories that are really cool, and I wanted to highlight her sword because this is actually very detailed, especially in the actual blade itself. It has that really nice blue tint that really causes a focal point when she's holding it. I love the hilt, and especially the wrapping around it looks really great. Also, if you notice, the sheath is very detailed. Just love that gunmetal finish. It looks great, and it does have a little bit of a blue hint as well, and fits perfectly when you actually sheath the sword. Now, I know that these daggers were in the movie, I just can't remember her actually using them. Whatever. The point is that we get these really cool daggers, a nice gunmetal finish, and the strap around the actual hilt is really nice. nice black so it really stands out. And if you're not going to use them like akimbo in either hand, they actually sheathe really well into each boot, which is nice, and it just gives it another layer of detail and another option on how to display things for this figure, so it's really cool. Again, there were certain aspects and plot devices in the movie that I wasn't really paying attention to because it was a little bit ridiculous, but we do get this kind of speaker resonator thing, which is very detailed. It's pretty cool. And then these two ringlets, I presume that it's part of her wardrobe. Again, guys, I can't remember, but it's nice that we have these little details, and this is what really sets Hot Toys apart from other 1/6 scale figures, is that it is movie accurate right down to the last detail. So here you go, guys. I don't know what the hell these things are, but you got them. And then, of course, we have the actual lightning bolt that you see in the film, Zeus's lightning bolt. This is really nice. It's very jagged, nice translucency here, and you do get those lightning particle effects, which is really cool. Again, you have multiples so that in case you lose one, you can just slide the other one in, and it is removable, so this is not static. So you can have the actual lightning Zeus thing, which doesn't have the particle effects, or the lightning effects I should say, and then you can remove them if you want. Now this little accessory actually baffled me when I first saw it, but when I realized it on closer inspection, it's actually Korg's head, which she ties around her head for the back of the head. I don't know, it's really weird, guys. Anyways, it does attach magnetically to the back of the actual figure's head sculpt, which is really cool. Again, this is part of what happens in the film. I don't want to spoil anything in case you haven't seen it, but whatever. This is just an accessory that's part of something that happens in the film that I won't mention. Nevertheless, it's a really great sculpt. And of course, rounding out the last bit of accessories are 4 additional hands, 4 various poses. 2 of them are in a fist motif, the other ones are open to receive weapons. Really nice detail on the leather for these ones, especially the fingertips. They're just, I don't know, they're little small aspects of this figure, but it just goes to show you that they spare no expense in making sure that every last detail is presented in these 1/6 scale figure offerings. Now again, I just have to reiterate this point that there is obviously a very big disconnect between actual collectors and true fans and the average audience and moviegoer who rejected Thor Love and Thunder, not really understanding what they were trying to do. Now, does that mean that it's like really just like on another level of intellectualism? No, but it was doing exactly what it was trying to do. It was meant to be ridiculous and absurd, and I think audiences just really didn't understand that, and that's one of the reasons they rejected it. It is not a perfect film by any means, please don't get me wrong, but for what it was trying to do, it accomplished it very well. Now that's not me trying to make excuses for the film, that's me trying to be fair as to what they were trying to accomplish. Now in terms of the figure, this thing sold out almost immediately, so it is definitely a holy grail piece. One of the reasons is that there's not too many likenesses of Tessa Thompson, the actress, especially in this role of Valkyrie, and especially on this level of detail, which is a 1/6 scale Hot Toys figure, so this is definitely one that you want to put in your collection. Now, like I said, it's sold out in most places, so if you can find it in the aftermarket for a reasonable price, definitely pick it up. Alright everybody, so that's my official review on Hot Toys version of Valkyrie from Thor Love and Thunder, the 1/6 scale figure. As always, I thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next Raudeza Reviews.